Welcome to the lair of the Batty Boffin.
Hi there Batty fans, time for a little more multiplying with the Batty Boffin. Now in earlier videos we looked at what happens when you take a multiply sum like this and you change the numbers, make them 10 times bigger or 100 times bigger or even 1,000 times bigger and smaller as well. We made them 10, 100,000 times smaller. In this video we're going to be doing the same thing, but we're also going to look at what happens when you do the divides, because something a little sneaky happens in there. So what I've done, I've started off with the multiply fact 15 times 9 is 135. That's pretty easy, I'm going to give you that. And I've written it out here as a multiply, and then I've swapped the numbers around to make it into a divide. 135 divided by 9 is 15, and 135 divided by 15 is 9. That's pretty easy. But then what we've done is we've fiddled around with the numbers a little bit. On this multiply one, I've changed the first number, timesing by 10 and dividing by 10. And then here I've changed the second number, multiplying by 10 and dividing by 10. And on here I've done exactly the same things with the divide facts. So first number multiplied by 10 and divided by 10, and the second number multiplied by 10 and divided by 10, and then exactly the same here. Okay? So what we're going to do is look at how changing those numbers changes the answer. Obviously I've done it with tens, it also works with hundreds, thousands and things as well, but just to avoid me having to write out millions of them, I've stuck with these. So what I'd like you to do is get your pen and fill in as many of these as you are comfortable with. The multiplies should be quite easy, but I'm just going to show you one of these divides just to see what happens. Okay, we've got 135 divided by 9 is 15. Okay, so 135 peanuts shared between 9 elephants means they get 15 each. If we times it the first number by 10, we've got more peanuts to share between the same number of elephants, so they're going to get more peanuts. So that's 150. No surprise. Instead, you're feeling stingy, and when you go to the zoo, actually you shouldn't feed animals at the zoo, so don't, but this is just kind of, maths world. Elephants eat peanuts in maths world. You've only got 13.5 peanuts to share between 9 elephants. So they get 1.5 each, and that makes sense, okay? Bigger number to start off with, you get more. Smaller number to start off with, you get less. Okay, but what about if we change the second number? So 135 peanuts shared between 9 elephants, they get 15 each. 135 peanuts shared between 90 elephants, they're going to get fewer. It's 1.5, and that makes sense, doesn't it? 135 peanuts shared between 90 elephants, they get 1.5 peanuts each. You will notice the number has got 10 times bigger, the answer has got 10 times smaller. Watch what happens on the next one. 135 peanuts shared out between 0.9 of an elephant. Okay, I know you can't get 0.9 of an elephant, but if you could, so 0.9 of an elephant gets 135 peanuts. One complete elephant would actually get more peanuts. Yeah, see how that works? 135 peanuts for most of an elephant. So the whole elephant, if he were all there, would actually get more than 135. And the answer, of course, is 150. Another way to think about it is 135 peanuts shared out into bags of 90. So you've got 135 peanuts and you need to pack them into bags of 90. You get 1.5 bags. 135 peanuts shared out into bags of 0.9. So each bag has 0.9 of a peanut. Okay, so when you've packed a few bags, you'll have some 0.1s of a peanuts left over, which makes another whole bag. So 135 peanuts shared out into bags of 0.9, you're going to get 150 bags. Okay? You note, the number gets bigger, the answer gets smaller. The number gets smaller, well, the answer gets bigger. Okay, bearing that in mind, could you fill in all the rest, please? Right, let's work through those together. First one's dead easy. When it's multiplying, bigger number, bigger answer. Smaller number, smaller answer. Same here. Okay, I hope you got those ones, they're quite easy. These ones we worked through, and these ones work the same as the originals. If you start off with a bigger number, you end up with a bigger number. If you start off with a smaller number, you end up with a smaller number. But if the number you're dividing by is bigger, you end up with a smaller share each. If you're sharing things out between fewer of you, you get more each. Hope you got those. A little more practice after you come back in a minute or two. Right, it's your turn now. This time we've got 57 times 13 is 741. I've put some nice simple ones down there with the timesers and a few here with the divides, including some really quite hairy ones down here. So see how you get on with those. See you in a minute. Right, let's work through these together. First one up here, we have made that 10 times smaller in the question, so it's going to be 10 times smaller in the answer. Here, we've made it 10 times bigger in the question, so that's going to be 10 times bigger in the answer. Here, we've made it 10 times smaller and 100 times bigger. So all in all, that one's going to make the answer bigger, that one's going to make the answer smaller. 7410. We end up going one decimal place to the right. And here, that's making the answer smaller by 2 decimal places, and that one, 1, 2, 3, is making the answer smaller by 3 decimal places. So all in all, the answer is 0.12. 1, 2, 3, that should be right there, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go, 5 decimal places smaller. Okay? Now on these divides, remember, if you make the first number bigger, your answer gets bigger. If you make the second number bigger, your answer gets smaller. So, looking over here, we've got a 741 divided by 13. The answer there is just plain old 57, which we got from up here. Now here, we've made that bit 10 times bigger. We've made that bit 10 times smaller. So we've got a bigger number shared between fewer things. So the answer there, 57, bigger because that one's bigger, and bigger again because that one's smaller. The answer was 5,700. Did you get that one? Okay, down here, this one here has got smaller 100 times, and this one, that's also got smaller 100 times, but of course that makes things get bigger. So there, that will make the answer get 100 times smaller. That one will make the answer get 100 times bigger. So the answer there is 57 again. 100 times smaller because of that, and 100 times bigger because of that, and they cancel out. We'll be talking more about that on other videos. Here we've got 100 times bigger because of that one, and whoa, 1, 2, 3, 1,000 times smaller because of that one. So that will make your answer bigger, that will make your answer smaller. We end up with 5.7. So you take your decimal point, you bounce it twice to the right and 3 times to the left, which gives you 5.7. Finally down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10,000 times. 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000 times smaller because of that. That's got 100 times smaller, which means your answer gets 100 times bigger. So 4 places to the left because of that, 2 places to the right because of that, and we end up with 0.57. Wow. Hope you got that. Now, there are actually some ways of simplifying these. The fact that this one and this one have the same answer is no coincidence. And we have got ways of turning that one, which is kind of a little bit into that one, which is much easier. And we're going to do that in the next video. So I'll see you there, Batty fans.
Mwahaha! Mwahaha! Mwahaha!